What if I told you one of rock's biggest superstars killed his entire career in 3 minutes and 44 seconds? This guy was outselling almost everybody. He was playing the sold out arenas, and he was the absolute king of MTV. Then he put on a pink shirt, crawled around on some satin sheets, and it was all over. Instantly. Here's how everybody stopped stroking Billy Squier. In 1984, you could not escape Billy Squier. He was the prototype for the American arena rock god. He wasn't British. He wasn't glam. He was just a dude from Massachusetts who wrote monster riffs. And he was not an overnight success. He paid his dues for years, slogging it out in bands like the Sidewinders and, more notably, a band called Piper, which released a couple decent records on A&M in the late 70s. But they never broke through. After Piper flamed out, Billy was broke and pumping gas. He got a solo deal as a last-ditch effort. His first album did okay, but in 1981, he drops the album Don't Say No, and it just frickin' explodes. That thing was a runaway train. It had In the Dark, it had My Kind of Lover, it had his signature song, The Stroke. You know it. The thump, clap, beat was everywhere. The song was massive. It became a stadium anthem for an entire decade. The videos for that album were simple. Billy and his band looking cool and playing in a room. It was raw. It was direct. It was macho. It was exactly what the new MTV audience wanted in a rock star. The album sold over 3 million copies, and Billy Squier suddenly was on the same level as bands like Foreigner and Journey, packing out them arenas. So he has to follow it up. In 1982, he releases Emotions in Motion. And guess what? It's another smash. Goes double platinum. It's got Everybody Wants You on it, another monster hit that basically owned MTV. At this point, Billy Squier is MTV. He's got the look, the jeans, the t-shirt, the perfect 80s rock hair. He's got the sound, and he's selling millions of records. He's the perfect, non-threatening, all-American rock hero. He was on top of the world. His label, Capitol Records, thinks he's the next Led Zeppelin. And the comparison wasn't totally crazy. Squier had become friends with the guys in Queen, who took him on tour. He even got Robert Plant himself to come out and jam with him on stage. He was in the club, untouchable. So now it's 1984, the pressure's on. He has to deliver a third time, and it has to be bigger than ever. This is the absolute peak of the MTV era. This is the year of Thriller, Purple Rain, Born in the USA. The song's success was almost entirely dependent on the video. You could have a great song, but if the video was boring, it was dead. The game was changing from simple performance clips to high-concept, expensive mini-movies. Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Prince were spending hundreds of thousands on videos. Billy Squier knew this, and his label knew this. His management definitely knew this. They had to make a splash. So he records the new album, Signs of Life. And the album is, by all accounts, really good. Classic Squier, but bigger. The production is massive. He brought in Reinhold Mack, Queen's producer, to co-produce, giving it that huge, booming The Works sound. He even co-wrote one song, All We Have to Give, with Jim Steinman, the maniac behind Meatloaf's Bad Out of Hell. And this album was built for stadiums. The lead single is a track called Rock Me Tonight, and it's a solid rock song. Catchy chorus, big drums, sounds like a guaranteed hit. And Capitol Records, they throw a ton of money at it. This is going to be the song of the summer. All it needs is a video, and it better be a freaking huge video. And Billy's management, a powerful firm named Bell Management, starts looking for a director. They want someone hot, someone with a new vision. And they land on this guy, Kenny Ortega. Now today, everybody knows Kenny Ortega. He's the guy who choreographed Dirty Dancing, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, directed the High School Musical Empire. He's a legend in that world. But in '84, he was a choreographer trying to break into directing. He had done the video for Safety Dance by Men Without Hats, if that tells you anything. The video was famous for being incredibly weird, full of medieval costumes, maypoles, and folk dancing. But it worked for Men Without Hats because they were a quirky, weird, new wave band. It fit their brand. The fatal mistake was thinking that the same aesthetic could apply to a straight-ahead arena rocker. So Ortega meets with Squier. He listens to Rock Me Tonight and gets a vision. He doesn't hear an arena rock anthem. He hears art. He hears dance. So he pitches his idea to Billy. Picture this, he says. We're in a bedroom. It's all pastel colors. Lavender, light blue, pink. There are satin sheets on the bed. You are in a pink tank top, man. Probably smoked a fatty before he even met up with him. Billy Squier, who's used to wearing jeans and a t-shirt, is totally confused. He's a rock guy. He plays guitar. He doesn't dance. He later said he was uncomfortable with the idea from the start, and he told Ortega, this doesn't seem like me. But Ortega was convincing. He reportedly told Billy, "You're a rock star. You can do anything. This is bold. This is cutting edge. It's what Bowie would do. It's what Jagger would do. Trust me. Trust me, bro." And that was the hook. Squier didn't want to be a rock jock. He wanted to be an artist like Bowie. And this pitch preyed on that ambition. So Billy, not wanting to be difficult, agrees. He goes ahead and trusts the vision. They get to the set, and it's exactly as Ortega promised, a pastel nightmare. The entire set is bathed in pink and purple light. The story goes that Squier showed up to the set, saw the satin sheets and the color palette, and immediately wanted to back out. His gut was right. He reportedly said, "This is not me, man. I cannot do this." But Ortega and the label execs ganged up on him, telling him, "It's too late, buddy. The money is spent. Billy, you're just being insecure." They convinced him it's totally brilliant. The video starts. Billy wakes up in his bed with pink and white satin sheets. He's wearing a pink tank top. He stretches, he yawns, and then he starts to dance. It's not rock dancing. It's not even regular dancing. It's this bizarre, interpretive slithering. He crawls across the floor and snaps his fingers and shimmies his shoulders, runs his hands through his hair and down his chest, rips off the pink tank top to reveal another white tank top underneath, crawls on his hands and knees towards the camera, does this move that's halfway between an aerobics class and a seizure. It's awkward, uncomfortable, and it looks cheap. The narrative is non-existent. He's in a bedroom, and then he's suddenly on a stylized empty set. Then his band appears looking confused and uncomfortable. And then he's literally crawling on the floor toward a martini glass. The story goes that during the shoot, Billy was really uncomfortable. He felt ridiculous, but Ortega, being a choreographer, was in his element. He and the crew were all cheering him on. "That's it, Billy. You're a tiger. Give us more." Squier, exhausted, feeling pressured, committed to it. He thought, well, these guys are professionals. They must know what they're doing. So the video's finished. They edit it all together, and the label Capitol Records sees it, and they love it. Why? Because it was different. It wasn't just another video of a band on stage with smoke machine. This was high art. His managers see it. They love it. They think it's artistic and brilliant. Billy sees the final cut, and at this point, even he's convinced. He's been told by every yes man in the room that this is pure genius. So he thinks, wow, this is different. This is high concept. He signs off on it, approves his own execution. The video for Rock Me Tonight is delivered to MTV. It's a world premiere. Hits the airwaves. And the reaction is not just bad, it is immediate, nuclear, and career ending. The phones at MTV start ringing off the hook. What the hell is it? Is it a joke? What happened to Billy Squier? The VJs, like Martha Quinn, were embarrassed to even introduce it. We're not just fans either. We're talking the entire industry. The backlash was instantaneous. Other rock stars were horrified. Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, a band that knew how to make a video, called his own manager, Bill Ham, into panic. He yelled, "What the hell is this? Have you seen this? Get that video off the air right now. Tell Billy's manager to pull it. He's going to kill his career." Members of KISS saw it and just burst out laughing. They thought it was the most ridiculous thing they had ever seen. Robert Plant, who had previously been a supporter, was just plain confused. In the macho beer and denim world of 1984 arena rock, this video was like a poison pill. The audience did not see the quote-unquote art. They saw a guy prancing around in a pink shirt, thought he looked weak, thought it was a bit overly flamboyant, if anything, and in 1984, to that specific audience, this was a death sentence, seen as a total betrayal of his rock and roll image. So now about the album. Billy Squier's album Signs of Life had just been released. It was shipping platinum based on pre-orders, selling 30,000 to 40,000 copies a day. The day the video hit, sales did not just slow down, they actually stopped. They fell off a cliff, dead. Capitol Records was stuck with hundreds of thousands of copies of vinyl and cassettes that nobody would buy. Record stores could not give these things away. And the stadium tour for the album had just started. The first few dates were sold out. As soon as that video aired, ticket sales vanished. Arenas were half empty, and then a quarter empty. He was playing to empty seats. He started getting booed. The crowd, which used to be screaming girls and guys with their fists in the air, were now full of people just laughing and mocking his dance moves. He had to cancel dates. The final straw of the whole thing was the financial loss, which was just catastrophic. And Billy was in total shock. He couldn't understand what happened. Here he was, the biggest star in the world one day, and the next he was a national joke. And he became absolutely furious. He needed somebody to blame. Couldn't blame himself. He had been convinced that this was high art, so he blamed everybody else. Kenny Ortega, right in his sights. He said the director manipulated him, betrayed his trust, made him look like a fool, blamed his management, Bell Management, I screamed at them, "Why the hell did you let me do this? Why didn't you stop me?" And he was so angry that he canned all of them, fired his entire team, cleaned house, trying to find somebody, anybody to pin this disaster on. But here's the kicker. Kenny Ortega's career was completely unharmed. He went on to choreograph Dirty Dancing just a few years later and became a Hollywood icon. Squier was the only casualty, but the damage was done. Rock Me Tonight became known as the worst video ever made. The video that killed the rock star. The punchline. He tried to recover. In 1986, he released a new album, Enough Is Enough. He was back in the leather jacket. The cover was dark and serious. He even got his buddy Freddie Mercury to come help with the vocals. Didn't matter. Nobody cared. The audience, they were gone. They felt like he tricked them. The album flopped. Tried again in 1988 with Here and Now, a desperate pop metal move with super producer Desmond Child. If you know anything about Desmond, you just know that he always had the magic touch and could pump out a hit like nobody's business. Turned out to be dead on arrival. Billy Squier, the man who was supposed to be the next generation rock god, was the guy that was outselling Michael Jackson for a minute, was done. His arena headlining days were over, forever. All because of 3 minutes and 44 seconds of interpretive dance. He was so devastated by the backlash and disgusted with the industry that he basically just walked away, stopped making records for years, just disappeared, moved out of the city and got into gardening, tired of being the butt of the joke. The irony is his music lived on. That beat from the Stroke became one of the most sampled breaks in hip-hop history. You could hear it in songs by Eminem, Berserk, Jay-Z, Dizzy Rascal. His song Big City Nights was sampled by the RZA or the RZA. I don't know, correct me in the comments. His music had undeniable swagger, even if his image had been shattered. The Rock Me Tonight video is still taught in music business classes as the perfect example of what not to do. It's a textbook case of an artist getting terrible advice, losing touch with their audience, and approving something that completely destroyed their career. Billy Squier never ever recovered. He went from king of the world to where are they now segment almost overnight. Make sure you smack that subscribe button and the like button. Thanks to my subscribers, you rock, and thank you to my patrons, you rock.